This is Michael Orrell of MobileBurn.com, and today we're going to look at some of the applications and user interface functionality of the Samsung Omnia 2 for Verizon Wireless. It's a Windows Mobile 6.5 powered device, but has the TouchWiz 2.0 user interface overlaid on top of it. You can see we've got a multi-panel home screen here. I'm going to go into edit mode just so you can see how we can remove things and then add new things in their place. So once you've removed an icon, you just tap on the plus sign on the spot it leaves, and up comes a list of all the icons and applications that aren't being used in the main menu so far. So I can choose something new, like say the search widget, and over here maybe put the calendar. Hit save when you're done, and it works nicely. I kind of like that functionality. It's not bad, but the frame rate animations are a little rough, and sometimes when you're going one way it looks like it's actually going the other way because the just not a smooth animation. And often, and this is probably the fourth take I've done with this part of the video, when you're moving, swiping, left or right, you actually activate an application because the touchscreen is not very responsive. It's sometimes you can press and not get anything. Sometimes it just seems to read the wrong thing. So while it's a good-looking display, the touch surface itself really doesn't work that well at all. One feature I'm quite fond of in the main menu is that you can rename the various panels. So right now it says main menu 1, and I could just change it to say test. Or for those of you who want to see how you do a capital letter in the swipe text input, test. Hit OK. Now the menu's been renamed to test, while the others still say main menu 1, 2, or 2, 3, 4, 5, like they did before. So you could set it up so it said games, utilities, and break it up any kind of logical way you see fit. While you can get to the task switcher from down here at the bottom of the main menu, you can also just long press the button here and bring it up as a shortcut. Right now you see little windows of all the applications that are currently running, my calendar, media player, file explorer, main menu, and that kind of stuff. And if you tap here, you get a different view that we've seen on some other Samsung devices. It's not very practical, but it's kind of cool looking, but the grid's much more useful. And from here you can end any specific program or stop all the applications. In the power section of the phone's settings, you'll find an item called Performance. This allows you to change the CPU performance, save battery life. You can force it to high performance mode, normal mode, low, and of course automatic, which tries to adjust automatically. If you put the phone into low performance mode, you really feel the pain. Things get quite sluggish, and even in auto mode, the default mode for the phone, it feels quite sluggish at times. Like I mentioned, the animations, just certain things. It's not a really snappy phone considering the high-speed processor it has in it. From the home screen here, I'm just going to jump into the Contacts application. This is Samsung's Contact application. It's quite easy to read, large fonts, large pictures, and convenient little shortcuts for immediately sending a message or making a call to that account. We'll pull up Jack Black here just so you can see what it looks like. Makes really good use of the AMOLED display. The bright colors on the black background really jump at you. There's also the ability to create groups. I've got a personal group here defined. Speed dials, and you can define favorite contacts. Jump into the My Calendar. This is Samsung's TouchWiz calendar. This is the agenda view. There's of course day view, week views, and monthly views as well. Overall, I'm very impressed with the way the calendar looks. It's really colorful and pretty easy to navigate. This is the email client. It looks pretty much like the standard Windows Mobile email client, except that it's been reskinned with a black background. Like some of the apps in the phone, the email client works in landscape mode as well. Bring up one of the test messages. This is an HTML message. Going to allow the internet pictures and then tap here to scroll. You can see I can move around. Say it's a friend request from Facebook. It's not really great in terms of being able to read large HTML emails, though. It's not obvious, no obvious zooming controls or anything on the screen. Can't honestly say if there are any. Assume we can do something like this, and while it reduces it, it's still quite unwieldy. You can use swipe gestures from inside the inbox to move back and forth between the various mailboxes and text messaging inbox. Here's an example of a text message. I'll go into the portrait mode. It's just a little bit easier to work with. This is a reply message, and send it off. You can see full threaded SMS. This is Samsung's media player. Again, the same black color scheme. It does support album art, but doing a straight copy over USB mass storage emulation on the device from Windows Mobile on a PC didn't copy over album art. Not uncommon, though. You can see when we flip over to landscape mode, it goes into a kind of a cover flow type look. You can move back and forth, flip through the various albums. Not particularly useful, but somewhat visually appealing. You can sort through the music in different ways too. Album, artists, all music, playlists, and there's also a tab for videos. Let's pick one of these songs with album art so we can play it. Of course, we can jump back to the home screen, do other things. If we go into the main menu, or the task switcher here, you can see what's playing down at the bottom of the screen. Pause it from there. So of course you could just access that by long pressing the button down here at the bottom of the device. I'm going to activate the camera by briefly pressing the shutter button. You'll notice that it says that the media player needs to be closed before it can run the camera, though, which is kind of strange. Never seen anything like that before. There's our test subject, the orange frog. Focus is nice and quick. Camera activates pretty well, and it takes really fantastic photos. I've been very, very impressed with the quality of the photos that this has taken. It's some of the best I've ever seen. Pull up some of the menus here. Pretty easy to navigate. Change flash mode, autofocus mode, things like that. Switch over to video, and right now we're set up to record 720 by 480 video. And now we're recording. I'm just going to move around a little bit so you can see that everything's working. And we'll go into the gallery and play the video. Very smooth, high-res video. It's quite impressive. And from inside the gallery, you can swipe left or right to move between the various photos and videos in it. I only have this one photo and one video in here, so you're not going to see too much. Works in portrait mode as well. Activate the zoom control. You can see it's nice and sharp video. That's at full zoom. Pretty impressive overall. This is the Opera web browser, and this is Verizon's default portal. Very nice looking website. Opera has support for multiple windows, and we'll jump over to where I have Mobile Burn loaded right now. You can see it renders quite well. Also support for landscape mode. Intelligent zooming by double tapping. Really stellar web browsing experience, and even the data speed seemed pretty good on the browser here. CPU, on the other hand, you can see it's still a little bit slow. It's not bad with rendering, but in filling in the blanks when you're scrolling, you can see there's some real delays. But overall, it's a pretty good web experience. I just quickly want to pull up the, show some of the call functionality. Here's the dial pad. We can dial phone numbers from the history. It's kind of small space here, and it actually extends into the contacts. But I'll just dial a test number here so you can see how it works. Convenient buttons for the speakerphone, muting the call. Here it's going through right now.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless.
And just tap the button or the hardware button down at the bottom to hang up the call. So that's my look at the Samsung SCH i920 Omnia 2 for Verizon Wireless. It's available now for $199.99 with a contract. It's not the best smartphone on the market, but it's a pretty good smartphone if you're coming from one of Samsung's feature phones. It has the same user interface. People will be familiar with it. And I won't say it's dumbed down, but it's definitely quite simple. Large fonts, easy to read, things like that. So not the best smartphone on the market, but definitely a good transitional device. So once again, the Omnia 2 for Verizon Wireless, and I'm Michael Orrell for MobileBurn.com.